Hey guys, it's Danny. Today, as promised, I will be taking you along as I unmounted this bulbophyllum that I just purchased, and also I'm going to harvest the moss that you see on top of this mount because I have big plans with it in the future, very near future. And the thing is, I kind of need to hurry because I already see the moss is starting to dry. I've been keeping this orchid in this container. By the way, excuse the light. The sky is super patchy and I constantly need to adjust the settings, which I will do because I'm in the darkness right now. Alright, so this moss is already starting to dry out and I need to put it in a different container. I kept it moist at all times, but it's not enough because the tall bits of the moss are not nearly as moist as they should be. Moss is a high moisture plant, certainly not suited for any of my environments, but I have tricks up my sleeve. Yep, got about 100 of them. So yeah, actually it's more about the moss right now. I need to put it in a closed container to preserve it and save it until I can use it in my project. And since we're at it, let's pot the orchid as well, because you guys really wanted to see a repotting of this bulbophyllum, which, as you know, is a crawling type of an orchid, so it requires special quote-unquote pots. So here's my special pot. This is a container from the supermarket in which I punched some holes with a soldering iron, and hey presto, we have a special pot. P.S. Did I tell you to give this video a like? Of course I didn't. Give it a like because it helps with engagement. You can also give it a dislike. It also helps with engagement. YouTube only sees rating. It doesn't see positive or negative actually, but it makes me happy if it's a like. And hey, why not subscribe? I post 3 times a week. Right, so since on the market there isn't any orchid specific type of a pot like this, I'm making my own pots. The problem is these containers, I really doubt they're UV proof, so I would not keep them in direct sunshine. That's why I'm using them with bulbophyllums, which my bulbophyllums do not see the light of day. I grow them under lights. So this is how I manage the way they grow. And so far it has been working pretty great for me. So let's get to business. I see that this mount, or actually the orchid, is attached to the mount with some fishing line, so it's going to be very, very easy to unmount. I forgot to get my scissors, didn't I? I did, hold on. I got a new repotting setup, do you like? Lockdown is over here and I've been locked in the house for ages. I'm feeling weird, I have to say. So I took the opportunity and went to IKEA and also to the flower shop, you'll see, just to do something again and feel like I'm not actually locked in between 4 walls, you know? So I went to IKEA and got myself a new setup, which is nice. So what I will do is cut away this fishing line and see if I can pry apart the orchid. Maybe it's actually not attached to the mount. It's not actually. I think it's a fresh mount. There we go. And oh, I think I have multiple orchids here. Oh, I do. It's such a relief because this orchid barely fits. All right, so first of all, let's get this moss. I'm gonna remove all of these dead bits and just keep the green part. I will put it back into this container. I have a little bit of osmosis water here. It should be okay for it, but it's not the container I want to keep it in. I see this moss was actually grown on a sort of soil because it has sand in it, which is okay. I will be washing it off a little bit because I will have a different type of soil or medium for the project that I want it for. So I'm just gonna wash it a little bit in the water. You can see the soil. And I do believe this orchid has been mounted fairly recently because everything is coming off pretty easy. I don't have roots attached to the mount. As a matter of fact, I don't actually have many healthy roots, which is not ideal, but certainly I can work with it. And yeah, I think that is about it. All of this other material I don't really need. I think it's sphagnum moss. It's so weird because this actually looks a little old. It might actually be moss combined with soil. Anyway, not sure if I'm gonna keep this mount. It's the orchid that I'm interested in. And right now I wanna go and rinse it a little bit under the faucet, actually rinse the root system and come back to see how exactly we stand because I feel like I'm gonna cut away some stuff from this orchid. There are things I don't need here. All right, so I'll clean this up and be right with you. Alrighty, so I'm back and things don't look so well. I actually had to cut away all of those roots because they were not alive, and the only good roots that I have seem to be on this growth, but at the same time, this growth has a bit of rotting going on here. I don't know if it's active or not. I'm gonna let it be, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. So I will have to reroot this orchid, which is always fun, but what to do? So anyway, let's do just that. So funny story, I made a TikTok account. Not because I wanted to be on TikTok, yet another social platform, the joy. Why couldn't we all stick to MySpace? All right, so I made a TikTok account because when you're dealing with social media, you kind of have to have accounts on all of these platforms. One, to have presence there, and actually it being you, not somebody impersonating you. And two, you never know when one of these platforms will just go bye-bye. So you want to be found, right? And I do see some other plant tubers or YouTubers or whatever having accounts there as well. I mean, even if I'm not gonna post, I want the account to be mine, not somebody impersonating me, you know? It's like Twitter. I used to use Twitter. I don't visit Twitter anymore, but I kind of have to have it there for rainy days. You never know. So TikTok is a whole different story that I don't get. I have two things against me. One, I'm not a teenager. Two, I'm not social. And here I am making a living out of social media anyway. Who would have thought? Not me. Anyway, so I make an account and I'm like, well, if I made an account, let's post something. So I post some videos that I actually posted on Instagram as well, which finally I got used to Instagram and got used to posting and how it works, which is great. It took me how many years? I opened my account like 5 years ago and barely used it up until last year. So I started to post some videos. Some people somehow found them. That's cool. But on TikTok, when you go to the homepage or discover or whatever it is, sorry, I don't know the platform. Not sure I'm gonna know it very soon, so bear with me if I don't make sense. But in the home button, they kind of give you some stuff to start you off, right? They recommend some videos. Guess what type of videos TikTok recommends me most of all? Girls dancing in bathing suits. Not really my type of content, to be honest. It's kind of uncomfortable, I have to say. But then again, I do understand from what I hear about TikTok and TikTokers that that's the thing. You dance or you do duets and stuff, and which is fine, it's great. But at the same time, it kind of made me realize that I'm getting old. But I'm stuck at that age where I'm too old for TikTok and for understanding TikTok in that way, but I'm also too young for understanding other stuff that adults understand, or I don't know. So at this moment, I am too old for TikTok, but too young to talk about Radiohead, I guess. I don't know, Nirvana, I guess. Oh, how old were you when Nirvana was in trend? Old enough to listen to it. Thank you. Yeah, I was 6. I was still listening to it. I have some very peculiar music tastes, but anyway, and all sorts of discussions of sorts that I don't really qualify. Either I'm too old for something or too young for something. So it's kind of weird. But when it comes to TikTok, oh boy, it is confusing. Let me tell you that. I'm not good with social platforms, which sucks because I am on social media. It's my job. I should know. I'm not good at it. But I'll try to be more on top. It's hard when you're just one person trying to take care of all of these platforms and actually respond to people as much as possible, which you guys know I can't. I just can't at this point. There are thousands upon thousands of comments and messages. Let's put TikTok messaging in the business as well. Why not? Anyway. So yeah, reality hit me that I'm a little too old for TikTok. But then again, I need to have a presence there as well. And who knows, maybe I'm gonna like it. Maybe there is a demographic for me as well, over 30s. Well, I know Summer Rain is there, so I'm following her. She's actually the only person I follow, so I don't feel that alone. Alrighty, so the mixture that I made here is the sphagnum moss and bark, the one that I usually do for the past 2 years. That's why I didn't repeat it. Most of you already know it, and if you don't know it, you actually have some tutorials in the description that go through repottings. They're recent tutorials, so you can learn more there. In all of my videos in the description, it is a template. At this point, I will add those tutorials just for the new people on my channel. So that's why I didn't insist. And yes, I'm using slow release fertilizer. So let's try to put this orchid in its direction of growth, which is this way, and hope it's not gonna spill over. Where was I? So yeah, I was realizing how much, I guess, technology and people changed. It's kind of weird. You're at that age where you're like, I'm young, I'm hip. Good timing, huh? But then again, you realize, oh no, I'm not young and hip because I don't dance in a bikini. I would never do that. So I'm just joking right now. I'm not saying all young people dance in bikinis and stuff. It's just, you know, I guess the point is, if you want to follow me on TikTok, you can do so and maybe tell me how the heck that thing works and what do I need to do not to see people dancing in my newsfeed. I kind of want to see plants. I tried to tell TikTok that my interest is plants. It doesn't care. It will recommend me something else. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to avoid the home tab or recommended for you or however else it's called. I think I'll try to search for people that I actually know and follow them and yeah, take it from there. This is not going well. Not to worry, we have sticks. Well friends, guess what? I actually stabilized my orchid. I blabbed a little more, but I forgot to turn on the recording. So I'm gonna have to reenact what I did. Let me see what to do. So where were we? Oh no, the orchid is very wobbly. It's not going well. Ooh. So what we need to do is get ourselves some boundary skewers, cut them in half, and then place them next to the orchid, next to the pseudobulb, and then pin it with a little clip at the top of the pseudobulb or the base of the leaf. Bulbophyllums have a very, very thin leaf base. It's not a petiole, it's just the leaf, but the bottom of it is very thin, so you can easily stake them. So I did this for a few pseudobulbs, and as you can see, everything is very stable right now. Great. So with this done, I think we can move on to the moss. All right, so actually the best way to keep moss is in a food container. Even if I would keep this in water, it would still not be ideal because the tops would still dry out. You'd think moss actually conducts or actually absorbs water in its structures. Not as much as you'd think. The tops always dry out for me, even with sphagnum moss. Remember when I tried to grow sphagnum moss? That didn't work, even in self-watering. It was just not humid enough. Even though my environment is more humid than it used to be in Romania, it's not that humid. And having 60% humidity is not as cool as you might think. It's okay, it's just not ideal for many things. There still are plants which will fuss at 60%, even orchids. The Caledictian really did not like my winter. So all I will do is get this moss, which already is wet, and arrange it nicely and spread out in this container just to make sure it gets enough light. If I put one on top of the other, it's just gonna shade each other and that's not good. And since it already has a little bit of a mat to grow on, I don't need to put anything into this container for now. Anyway, I will be using it in a different project. So I'm just going to put back the lid and ta-da! I forgot to mention it is important to have a transparent lid to let in light. Moss absolutely needs light and he's good to go. I'm just gonna plop it on one of my shelves and he's good to go until I am going to use it. Since we're on the subject, let me just show you another moss that I found at the flower shop. Hold on. Look at this beauty. So the flower shop, which is actually a garden center that I went to, had crates of this thing just in the middle of the garden center. So I asked if it's for sale and they said, sure. Well, then I'm very happy to buy some. Okay, how much do you want? Do you want a crate? It's €5 a crate or less or something like that. And mind you, the crates were like this. Like, no, I just want a few pieces. So she kind of calculated a quarter of a crate or something. And I ended up paying like €1 or €2 for everything that you see here, which is amazing, isn't it? And look how beautiful it is. Again, it's kind of starting to dry. So I will put it in one of those containers as well until I'm going to use it. But if it's properly grown, look at it. It's so pretty. Can you imagine how beautiful it will look? And yes, I'm doing a terrarium again. Stay tuned for another terrarium project. I have orchids to put in it, I have moss to put in it. I will run it off camera for a while until it grows in a little bit, just to show you a little bit of an update on it as well. That's always fun. So I think in about a month or so, I'm gonna post that video. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, for today, that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, joining me, just chilling with me while I talk about stuff that I do. The tutorials, I do like to make them pretty fast flowing, easy to understand, and no other details. But when it's just us hanging, I'm gonna be real, it's kind of fun for me, it's relaxing. Sometimes I just don't want to make an entire script for a video. I do prepare my videos. I don't write everything, but I do make a list of points that I do want to address and talk about, because I don't want to forget stuff. I always sometimes forget a detail, which I'm gonna hear about in the comment section, so I do make a script. I don't want to make scripts for all the videos, This is very relaxing for me too, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So with that said, thank you for watching and hanging out. I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye!